The information in this video is provided for informational and educational purposes only.
Welcome to Dose of Dan, where you'll get a little shot of what my life is like living with SMA. In lieu of Rare Disease Day, which is February 28th, I thought disability was an important topic to discuss. And I had the opportunity to do it with an amazing couple, Viola and Dan. So take a look at our conversation and then head on over to our forums to let me know what you think. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm excited to have you.
Oh, thanks.
I need to introduce you guys, Dan and Viola, and you guys have your own YouTube channel called The Ginchiest. And so I'd like to give you a minute to introduce yourselves for everybody, and kind of, for those who haven't seen your video, can you tell us what Keep It Ginchi means, which is your catchphrase?
Well, we can start off with the intros.
Okay.
Okay, so Dan and I, we're a married couple living right outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And we were married in July of 2016. Almost had to think about that for a moment. And we started this channel, The Ginchiest, in October 2020. So it's a very new channel. And Keep It Ginchi is one of our catchphrases, and Dan will explain it.
It's meant to keep it calm, be cool, and be your best
I love that.
self.
Yeah, so he said it means to keep it cool, be kind, and be your best self. And that's what we're trying to promote.
I think that's a great message to share. So, I know you have SMA, and then Dan has a traumatic brain injury, correct?
Yes.
And so, coming up on February 28th is Rare Disease Day. And so I think one of the best ways to shed light on rare diseases, because SMA is considered a rare disease, and I think traumatic brain injury is a rare condition. One of the best ways to shed light on that is to be open and honest about it. And I think on your channel, you have a lot of videos that show your triumphs and your struggles with disability. And so I was wondering, why do you feel that's important to share?
So I think that we feel pretty strongly about this because it's something that is often not talked about. Disability is often met with shame and fear, and those feelings don't serve anyone, particularly those who are that have the disability. And so this is a very safe space and fun place where we open that or pull that curtain over, and we talk very openly, and we're hoping that it allows people to feel more comfortable with or without a disability to talk about it as well.
Yeah, I think that's really important too.
Yeah.
And then like, everybody comes to terms with their disability, I guess, in their own time, in their own way. And one of your recent videos kind of focused on this, but what do you think are some factors that come into that, accepting your disability?
You want to talk about that, Dan? I mean, it's, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Dan. We're sharing a headset here.
That works.
Yeah.
Awareness and being flexible. Yeah. Yeah.
Self-awareness. So he said awareness and being flexible. What I think he means by awareness is self-awareness. So that's a major factor for people who maybe are still struggling and are not comfortable or very, harboring some anger or resentment, is that if you're at least aware of that and there's some sort of separation of those feelings, that is part of, I think, the journey. But it is indeed a journey, and it's a very personal one. And, we can't say for people how it's going to pan out, for their particular journey. But I think that, as Dan says, self-awareness is a big one. And what was the second one?
Being fly.
Yeah. I mean, we're rather rigid in what we think the body and the self should be and look like.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
then disability certainly challenges that. It causes you to think, well, how else can I do this? Or how else can I think about this or think about this situation? So flexibility is a really good one. Yeah.
And do you think it makes a difference? I know, like, you and I have SMA and we've had our disabilities our entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And Dan, your disability is more of an acquired disability. Do you think that makes a difference in how you accept your disability? Or do you think you still need to kind of come to terms with it and, like you said, be flexible and be honest with yourself? And
such a good question. What do you think, Dan? Well, I'll just interrupt here for a moment, because one of the first questions that I asked Dan when I met him, when we started to have more of an intimate conversation, because we had a very sweet love story, which we'll share one day on the channel, but one of our first, close conversations involved me asking him, what was it like? What was it like to be able to walk and do all the things that a kid, because he was a kid when his accident happened, and he had the traumatic brain injury. What was that like? Because I have to say, I have been intensely curious as someone who's never experienced it.
yeah.
But Dan, what do you think? I mean, in terms of your journey, your arc, do you think there's a difference in the process?
Did I put you on the spot?
I know.
Did I put you on the spot?
Could you please repeat your question?
He asked if you could repeat the question. Your question.
Well, I was just wondering, like, when you have an acquired disability versus a lifelong disability, do you think there's a difference in accepting your disability and kind of coming to terms with it?
Yes, it takes some
Time.
Yes, it takes some time.
But I'm still disabled.
And will be likely for life, Dan.
Yeah.
So he says, but I'm still disabled. And then I added, but will be likely for life.
But
so
you're
it does
still
take time.
you're still Dan too.
Yeah.
And like I'm who I am with or without my disability, but I have it, so that's how I am. And that's kind of,
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense at all or not, but that's kind of how I feel about it too.
Yeah.
And when you do videos, I know you try and reach out to other people that maybe don't have disabilities. And what do you think is helpful for them in accepting people with a disability?
I think that there's a really important like mind shift that needs to happen, and that is to stop separating it from the human experience. The disability experience is part of the human experience, no matter who you are, where you're from. If you live long or to a certain point in your life, if you're fortunate enough to live to a certain point, you will experience some of what the disabled community has already been experiencing. And so I think the first thing I would say to someone is stop separating it from yourself. It is a part of you, whether you've experienced it yet or not. And it's funny because people who have broken their ankle or their arm will come up to me sometimes, and this was when I was working in more of an office, and they would say, Viola, I get what you're, I get it. It's so difficult. I've been in the wheelchair for like a week, and oh my gosh. And of course they don't get it 100%, but they get this sliver, this window of insight. And I think that, that's a bit condescending to say. I mean, I'm going to admit that it was a little, but at the same time, it made me chuckle, because I think to myself, if only more people just realize there isn't this definitive line between this experience. First and foremost, we're all human beings.
Yeah.
And if we can see that, then we're already way ahead of the average person. What do you think, Dan?
I'm going to shift gears a little and go a little off script here, so I hope you don't mind.
Okay.
But I love seeing you two as a couple, and I kind of want to know a little bit about like your history, who pursued who, or did you have in your mind that we're both disabled, how will this work, or if that wasn't a factor at all, or kind of a little bit of your history?
You should take that away. No, you
Who pursued who here?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's true. Yeah. And
the rest is...
oh, you're being coy.
Yeah.
The rest is history.
Yeah. No. So he did, and I have to admit that I wasn't at first keen on having like a romantic relationship.
I did because she all the take on like she is beautiful. She is smart. I feel that Viola is funny, and that we're not answering mine back to having a partner.
Do you want me?
Smart, beautiful, funny, and yeah,
Yeah, those were the
Great.
checkpoints or check things that he had.
check the
when
boxes.
Yeah, and was looking for in a partner.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you found it. And so, did you do anything special for Valentine's Day?
So Dan, I mean, before we got married, Dan is has been very over the top with birthdays and Valentine's. Like one Valentine's Day, he got me this huge teddy bear. It was adorable, but it was humongous. And you know, like as the years go on, we're not as ostentatious with our celebrations, but you know, it was Valentine's Day, so he wanted to make it special. So he went. So it's been really bad snow here in southeastern Pennsylvania, and so we haven't been as. And of course, we're in the middle of a pandemic, so we're not as easily able to go pick up stuff from a shop. But our leasing office was doing a special thing for residents in our apartment, and he like had to go to the leasing office. So he went to the leasing office and he came back and he brought me candy, like a box of chocolates, and some like free cups with the logo from the leasing office. And then who ended up eating all the chocolates? Damn it. But it was very sweet. So we did that, and then we also taped more episodes for the Ginchiest because that's what we do a lot on the weekends.
Awesome. Well, that sounds like a good Valentine's Day then.
It was really nice.
How are you guys doing through the pandemic? Is it do you stay home a lot more? And well, everybody does, I guess. But are you making it through?
We are thankfully very fortunate. We are making it through a lot to do with our current support. Like my mother is living with us and is my main caregiver. So that's been a big help. But we are trying to shift away from that. But we would prefer, or I would prefer to be vaccinated first. I think Dan is open to getting the vaccine as well, but that would really help to start to bring people in again, because we used to have assistants that rotated for our personal care. But no, we're very fortunate to kind of stay in the bubble, and we have been very much in the bubble. Dan's way more outgoing than I am. He's the extrovert.
No, you can't tell. He's probably the life of the party, right?
Yes.
I'm very
sure, Dan.
Yeah.
So he's very shy. So I think that this, in terms of like emotional impact, has probably affected Dan more. I mean, like I could, especially when it's cold out, I could stay inside and, you know, for months and be okay. I don't like it,
right?
But it's doable. But he tries to like go to the bar around here, but I tell him he can't go inside, so he'll literally sit out in the outdoors in the middle of winter.
Well, I live in Minnesota, and some of the breweries have made like outdoor fire pits.
Wow.
So people can come and have their beer outside by the fire. But last week it was 20 below, so I don't think that would go well.
But I would imagine... No road trip. No. But I would imagine that there probably are some Minnesotans who would be like, no, that's good. We're good. I don't know. You tell us. I mean, what are Minnesotans like? Are they that hardy that they can withstand that level
Well,
of cold?
It's going to be 30 degrees by the weekend, so I think we'll be seeing people wearing shorts. I don't know.
Oh my lord.
Have you guys gotten a lot of snow?
Yeah, we really have, and we're expected to have more, I believe, tomorrow.
I lived
Yeah.
tomorrow night.
Ugh, tomorrow night,
No.
he says. I know, and
I
there's
know
still
a lot of places around the country have had bad weather this week, so
yeah,
I'm
very cold too.
yeah, unseasonable for them. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully it'll kind of straighten out and everybody will be able to, without the vaccinations and the weather straightening out, hopefully spring will be a little bit better for everybody.
I do hope that, yes.
So,
Yeah.
well, I want to thank you guys for joining me and
Thank you,
kind of sharing a
Dan.
little bit of your story. We'll put a link to your channel below so everyone
Awesome.
can go check it out. And would you like to say your famous catchphrase?
Keep it Ginchiest.
Love it.
You say cha- Yeah, Dan says cheers a lot. Cheers or chow.
Cheers.
He's so metropolitan. Or cosmopolitan? I don't know. Cosmopolitan. Thank you,
All right,
Dan.
well,
Thank you.
you guys so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care.
Thanks, Dan and Viola. I really enjoyed our conversation, and I hope everybody watching did as well. But that's all I have for you guys today. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.